This fan-made Pokemon game has over 170,000 Pokemon. These range from sick-looking monsters all the way down to living memes. And the chaos starts where it always does, in Pallet Town. I picked Squirtle as my starter, and instantly lost to my rival's monstrosity. Luckily, the ability to fuse Pokemon was unlocked right after. This is where the real fun begins. I made my first fusion, a Rattata and a Hoot-Hoot. I went up through Viridian Forest, fusing some more Pokemon along the way, and then went up to Pewter City to challenge the first gym leader, Brock. He had two Pokemon, a Geogy, a Pidgey-Geodude fusion, and a goofy-looking Dignix, a Diglett-Onix fusion, both of which I beat easily and won the Boulder Badge. I then had to go through Mount Moon, where I fused a Geodude and a Meowth together, and met Team Rocket, who were trying to figure out how to fuse 3 Pokemon together at once. I then headed out of Mount Moon and to Cerulean City. I went straight to the gym where I lost to Misty's first Pokemon, Jigglydean, which was 7 levels above my Pokemon. After losing, I decided that the best course of action was to go up north to the bridge to fight all the trainers, forgetting that there was supposed to be a rival battle there. My rival, who now has 4 Pokemon, destroyed my underleveled team. I relentlessly threw my Pokemon at him for a second time. He won. Again. I decided I had to level up my Pokemon some other way. I went to the nearby tall grass and fought wild Pokemon for levels. I received an amazing Pokemon from the Wonder Trade feature, a normal dragon type named Covid. A combination between a Slackoth and a Dino. After I had enough levels, I went to the rival and absolutely destroyed his Pokemon. I then decided I might be ready for the gym now, which I learned was false. I went back up north to the trainers on the bridge and easily won against all of them. I then attempted the strategy of throwing myself into battle over and over, hoping for a good RNG, and after many tries, finally won the second gym battle. I headed down to Vermilion City. Along the way, I found a really funny looking Meowth Pikachu fusion. I then caught just a normal Pikachu, and I fused it with my Wartortle. I then headed down to the SS Anne. I got the key off the deck, failed to beat my rival again, went back and beat my rival and got cut from the captain. The third gym's puzzle was awful as always, but once I completed it, I moved on to fighting the gym leader, Lieutenant Surge, who I defeated pretty easily on the first try. After winning against the third gym leader, I tried the weird Wonder Trade feature again, and got 2 Pokemon. I then went to the worst place in this game, Rock Tunnel. I threw myself in blind, literally. After getting lost way too much and losing too many times, I finally escaped from the grips of the cold, dark Rock Tunnel. In Lavender Town, I went up the Pokemon Tower and encountered my rival again. Once I beat my rival, I see Team Rocket again, kidnapping an old man to get the Master Ball prototype. After that, I headed out to Celadon City, where I met Erica, the 4th gym leader. But before I challenge her at the gym, I go down into the sewers with her, where Team Rocket is for some reason hanging out. I killed each of Team Rocket's Pokemon and found Giovanni in a room in the back of the sewers. I win against Giovanni on the first try and get the Sylph Scope, which allows me to see ghosts and ghost Pokemon. I decided to go back to Pokemon Tower, and I find Mr. Fuji at the top of the tower, who tells me that Team Rocket already took the Master Ball prototype, and he gave me the Pokeflute. So I head back to challenge the 4th gym in Celadon City, which I beat first try. I woke up the Snorlax on Route 12, failed to catch it, and went to Fuchsia City. Along the way, I fused a bunch of Pokemon to get the XP All from the scientists in the upper floor of the little room between Route 13 and Fuchsia City. Found my way through the invisible maze in the 5th gym, and beat the 5th gym leader, Koga, on the first attempt. Then I went up to Saffron City, beating up the Team Rocket member blocking the way into the city. Then I went up to the Sylph Co building. I saved all the employees from Team Rocket, and went to save the CEO from Giovanni. But for some reason, right before I enter the room, my rival stops me to have a battle with him. I beat my rival and went into the room where Giovanni was, and double battled him with my rival. I beat Giovanni and I got the Master Ball. I then went to the Saffron City gym, and did the really dumb teleportation thing, and fought the gym leader. I won first try using Covid and surfed over to Cinnabar Island, where I found the 7th gym to be locked. So I went over to the Pokemon Mansion to find Blaine, the gym leader. I went through the 7th gym puzzle, which was a quiz, I failed almost every question, and made it to the gym leader, who I beat first try. After being confused about where to go for a little while, I caught an Absol, and I found I was supposed to follow the currents to the south, and follow them to Mount Ember. I headed into the mountain, fighting many members of Team Rocket. As I went farther in, I found out what they were doing there. They were trying to catch the legendary bird, Moltres. I went further in, and eventually, the Team Rocket members brought out Articuno and Zapdos as well. I went farther in as Team Rocket revealed their plan. They were making a tri-fusion of the legendary birds. As I got closer to Giovanni, he gives his evil villain monologue about how nobody in the world can stop him. And then he turns around, revealing that he knew I was there the whole time. And he tells me that if not even the Elite Four could beat him, then what was I doing here? I get thrown into a battle against this crazy Pokemon, Zap Malkuno. But it turns out that Giovanni was right, that I could not beat it. At least not on the first try. Or the second. On the third try, I beat this monster of a Pokemon, and the legendary birds split back to their original form. Next up is the 8th gym. But first I try to catch the 3 legendary birds. I failed to catch Moltres, who was right next to me after the triple fusion split, failed to catch Zapdos in the power plant, but successfully caught Articuno in the cave on the Seafoam Islands, and fused it with the Absol I caught earlier. I finally headed out for the 8th gym, in Viridian City. After getting there, it would be surprising to lose to Giovanni after beating him every time before this fight, and to no surprise, I beat him easily. I went left to Victory Road, and as I make my way through, I am mentally dying. After finding my way through the stupid Victory Road, it had some pretty cool fusions though, I am almost finished with this game, and I enter the Elite Four with my team. Blastchew, Icebird, Covid, Rat, Rocket, Martin. I enter the first Elite Four member's room, the Ice-type member, and easily beat them. I head up to the Fighting-type member and fail. I re-enter the Elite Four again, with a slight change to my party. I add Purloin, the Persian Golem fusion, replacing Rat, and fight the Ice-type Elite Four member again, who I beat again. I move on to the second Elite Four member, the Fighting-type Elite Four member, and beat him this time. I move forward into the third chamber and fight an old woman, the Ghost-type Elite Four member, and I also win against her, although I lost a few Pokemon and was starting to run out of healing items. I move on to the final Elite Four member, the Dragon-type. I beat him only using a few Pokemon, but I ended up having to go into the champion fight with a fainted Pokemon. I entered the final room, the room that contained the final battle of the game, my rival. I bring out Covid first while he brings out his Nigiot, which I defeat easily with 2 Dragon Pulses. He brings out Ripe Mortar, who defeated Covid with a burn. I bring out Blastchew. My rival uses all of his full restores on this Pokemon before I kill it with a couple of Surfs. He brings out Charizard, and I switch Rocket in and poison the Charizard before fainting. I then send out Martin, and chip the rest of the Charizard's health away with the poison and extra sensory. He throws out Electados, and kills Martin, so I bring out Icebird. Icebird does a good amount of damage, but eventually faints. I take out my last Pokemon, Blastchew. I make the Electados faint with only 22 health left on my Blastchew, but he had 2 more Pokemon left. Tator takes out my Blastchew, but before I fainted, I revived Covid. I then throw out Covid, I take out the Tator, and he brings out Starkazam, who was weak to Dark-type moves, so I killed it in one shot with Crunch. After defeating my rival, Professor Oak comes in to congratulate me, and scold his grandson for losing the champion title so fast, and I become champion of the Kanto region.